I don't know who needs to hear this, but giving up alcohol is never easy, but very worth it. Let me tell you how I gave up all substances and my life is completely turned around. Knocking old habits is like the key to rejuvenation. Like, you can't even grow if you don't let go of some of your old habits or anything that you feel like you're addicted to and that you can't stop. Let me clear up addiction, because a lot of people don't see themselves addicted to anything except the fact that, oh, it's not a problem, so I'm not addicted. But it's a problem if you can't stop and you don't really know why. And a lot of these addictions are attached to social connections. So if you're having a social connection, going to get a drink, going to have a smoke, going to connect with someone, if you're attaching some of your drinking or smoking to decompressing, letting go of your worries, you're not dealing with the problems. You're actually just suppressing them. And suppressing them is honestly more unhealthy than actually just dealing with them. Because if you're going to go anywhere in your growth and development, you're not going to be able to deal with things properly without dealing with the situation that you went through in the first place. I feel like I love myself more. I have self-discipline, self-control. I can actually prove to myself that I can say no to something and be okay with it. I don't think I saw that as a problem before, because to me, it wasn't nothing. It was just me maintaining, dealing with life. And when you don't see things as a problem, you won't be able to kind of grow into the person that God has you to be in your purpose. A lot of you guys are going to be like, I mean, I don't have a problem. But honestly, if you're praying about something and want something, you're not going to be able to gain the rewarded benefits from what you want. The blessing is not going to be as easy to obtain, because you're sitting here asking for something, but you're not willing to give up anything. You got to think about what is attached to those blessings. Are you really happy? Did those things come, but then are you staying in a joyful state? Like, there's a lot of things that you need to think about that you're attaching if you're not willing to sacrifice your old ways or sacrifice old habits or sacrifice things that you've attached things to. Okay, as an example, for myself, I decided to give up smoking and drinking because, to me, I attached it to something. When I started, when I was really young, I was coming from a very toxic household, and things for me were easier to suppress if I just got through it and ended up being around the wrong crowds and be people that influenced something that I should not have been a part of. But at a young age, I just wanted to feel better than what I was feeling at home. And that's never the way to deal with something, because if you're dealing with a part of you that you need to get through and hopefully somebody's there you can talk to. At the time, I had nobody to talk to. I didn't feel like anybody understood me. I was like most teenagers, really going through a time in my life where it felt very abandoning, neglectful. Like, I was not feeling like there was anyone there that I could lean into. If I knew God the way I know him now, I wouldn't have had to lean into nobody else but him. But at the time, as much as my grandmother taught me about Jesus, and I knew Jesus was there, I love Jesus, but I wasn't knowing the rules and the obedience of his law in order to gain that joy and that true happiness. Even through adversity, even through your struggles, you're going to deal with these things, but you got to know how to get through them. And when you're taking substances, you're just suppressing them. And suppressing them is never going to cure the issue. A lot of times we see our adults going through their motions and they're drinking and they're fine and they're doing whatever they're doing. So that's going to be something that's going to be easy for me, right? Like, I want to get through it. I want to enjoy life. But listen, when I realized I attached most of those issues to my substances because they were what got me through it, now I got to look at that whole thing, my whole past, my whole trauma, and realize I'm not doing it recreationally. I'm doing it because I'm used to suppressing and putting away anything that I'm feeling as if it doesn't matter. But it does. They matter because they help you deal with the phases of life. So let's say you have to deal with something with work, with friendships, with relationships, with anything that has to do with people, places, or things. You're going to constantly deal with something that you have to learn from. But if you're not knowing how to deal with it, like let's say communication, if you don't know how to communicate, and all you do is go drink or smoke or just do whatever just to get through it, it becomes something that you're not really knowing how to operate in a more healthier way of being. I'm being more adhesive to taking something and just being able to say, okay, well, I what I dealt with yesterday is over. Now I can move on. But then if I'm continuing the same pattern to drink, to get over something without really dealing with it or reflecting on it or looking at it, then I'm not giving myself the chance to learn from it. Speaking from a place of experience, and I say these things because I feel like a lot of our youth is not really able to see the examples around them on how to deal with the problem. And if I had the example of how to deal with something, whether it's a communication, whether it's accountability, whether it's just being responsible and understanding to understand, not just saying, okay, I get it, but like understanding to really understand what you're gaining out of it or why it's happening. I'm used to really feeling like people don't really understand me. Just like most youth, I get you. But if you are not allowing yourself to learn from it and actually observe the situation and listen to your instinct, you're not going to be able to understand what you're looking forward to. Like, I believe every one of us have people that are toxic in our family, but it doesn't allow us to grow if we don't know how to deal with those situations, because those same situations or people are going to come up in life. And they're actually people that actually have taught us how to deal with other things. Even though they were toxic to us, we're going to deal with more toxic people out there in the real world. And having principles and values to kind of go by to obtain the right type of information on how to deal with something, whether it's saying, okay, I'm not going to drink because it's not healthy, but I'm also not going to drink just to put something aside when how can I deal with this situation better? When you're young, there's really no manual of how to deal with something because a lot of times we don't have the most best influence that can teach us that because everyone is still learning. I get it. It's not something that we all can understand. But the only thing I could advise, and I wish I was able to stick by, was the Bible. And if I had the Bible at the time to even just go off principles and understanding, I think it would have helped me feel more secure and confident about my decisions in growing up.